All right, what's poppin', Tub Nation? Welcome to Tub Takes. This is a video podcast where we're going to go over what's been making waves in the VGC metagame, and today I am joined by Adi.
Hello, everyone.
We've also got Rajan
And welcome to the channel.
and Gavin.
My name is Adi Supermanian.
That's just going to confuse everyone now. So this is like I said earlier, it's like a VGC podcast. We're going to talk about a couple of things today that I posted in the tweet, but like Liverpool and some of the other like stuff that was happening in the last week, like signing up for regionals, Series 2, of course. And yeah, we're mainly just going to be covering the metagame trends and things that have happened in the VGC scene. We'll also be answering your questions. So feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat, and we will respond to them. Oh, people hopping in the tub already. Yeah, get in here, guys. This is going to be a good stream.
What does that mean?
So Raja doesn't understand the point of like for fun, like channel points. But it doesn't mean anything, Raja. It just means that they are in the tub. Eventually, we'll add a bot, and then we'll be able to keep track of everybody's
in the tub. You say?
Oh no! This is just a segue.
What's in the tub?
I need to turn off his video.
What happened? Oh, I zoomed in too much. No, go away.
So yeah, we'll be answering people's questions. So feel free to drop those in the chat, and we'll address them. And then also, this is going to be up on YouTube in a couple of days. I think like 2 days. It's usually on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yep.
Yeah. So if you guys would, appreciate you guys coming by. But if you're like tuning in for the first time and you're like, ah, man, I really don't dig live, just go ahead and watch the re-recording or whatever on
If you
YouTube.
missed half of it, you can watch the second half on YouTube. If you missed the first half and you didn't even hear us say this, then you can watch the.
Well, we're gonna plug YouTube at the end too, so they'll find it there. It's just if they come in just for like the meatball in the middle, like then they'll have no idea this is on YouTube.
I feel like Pokemon stuff is too hard to watch on YouTube because most of my YouTube stuff I watch at 2x speed, and every Pokemon player already speaks way too fast.
I can't imagine listening to Audi. I can't imagine listening to Audi at 2x speed because I barely can imagine listening to him at all. But I mean,
So true.
Gavin, Abe says you're quiet.
All right, let me make sure I've got Gavin max volume. Let me check.
Okay, wait. Do I just gotta be doing?
Whoa!
Like this?
Yeah, that did change it.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh-oh.
We're just gonna be doing it like this then.
Okay. Yeah, I can turn this volume up a little bit for all of them, but they're already at 200%. So let's go ahead and get into these topics today. Today we're going to talk about something that I consider myself an expert on, the European metagame, and that is the Liverpool regional preview. We didn't put together any kind of crazy document like we did for the San Diego one because I just am not an expert enough. I'm not informed enough on the European metagame. Mainly the player base, I would say. The metagame, I feel like, I don't know. Are there any like regional trends, man? I feel like, I don't know. Let's open up with like a different topic altogether. I feel like regional metagame has kind of fizzled out in the past couple of years, and I just kind of feel like there's like a global metagame. Is this cap?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm under the impression that Europe just tends to copy everything the US does. So,
That's true, and do it worse.
Yeah.
There are definitely some teams, at least in 2022, it was very clear that teams like Zacian Calyrex Shadow was a very European thing. They really loved their Calyrex Shadow teams, and Americans did not use it as much. Whereas Calyrex Ice was a very American thing, and the Europeans did not really see a ton of success. At least Calyrex as Palkia. They saw like Calyrex as Reshiram instead, and I don't think there was a single American that ran Calyrex Ice Reshiram. So there definitely are differences. Just because like the team building groups are different, and I think a lot of times team building groups will kind of use the same team.
Caliper. I think that's fair. I also do think that, these recent formats and the recent games that we've been playing have had a lot more online tournaments, have had a lot more like opportunities for players to compete somewhat internationally, not through official tournaments, but just by more opportunities to play, right? And there's more instances of that. Like, I mean, time zones don't work out for everybody, but it's a lot easier for like a European person to play an American person to play an Australian person or whatever in an online tour. And when the showdown ladder is like, especially right now for going to Series 2, the only real opportunity for practice, like, I don't think there's really that many trends. We just don't have enough events and not enough locals to really put trends together.
I mean, I think what it is that like, yeah, part of it is like when there is an idea out there, like how much is the player base there running with it, right? Because we've seen that like an idea pop off, and then like they'll run with it or they won't, right? Like I think that when Annihilate Mousehold like started doing well in a lot of Japanese tournaments, right? Like there was definitely groups that were like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, and then some that couldn't care less, right? And so I think that like when you have those ideas introduced, then it's up to like the different communities to decide whether they think it's real or not, right? Like when GSOC was first doing well with a lot of the Baxcalibur Toro stuff, right? Like I think a lot of people kind of dismissed it out of hand, and some people were like, "No, this is really good." And we saw like an American group that was starting to like build more around Baxcalibur, right? And like now, I think that because with like GSOC's result, right, like everyone's like using Baxcalibur, and there's not really a lot to it. And it's like, I mean, there is a fair question though of like, are Europeans going to see like Rain pop off at Liverpool or sorry at San Diego and decide, oh, Rain is really strong in this format? Or are they going to say, oh, Rain is a weird American thing? I don't really get it.
If you told me that Rain was a distinctly American trend and it's going to fall off at Liverpool, I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, we've talked about how well positioned Pelipper is and whatnot, and talked about that pretty extensively individually. But yeah, no, I could totally see Rain, especially like Palafin Rain, being like, oh yeah, that's just what Americans like to use, and everyone in Europe kind of builds their own thing, or maybe Gendozo, or maybe something else. I don't know.
I think for me, the thing that's the saddest is the fact that like that's event 2 of this format, and I don't give a shit because it's over for me. And this is the best format I've ever I've played in so long. Like I don't want to just make I don't want to keep complaining or lamenting about like losing our formats and all of the above, but like we played a regional 2 weeks ago, first event of this format. There's another regional like a week. And who cares, right? Like Europe cares, but like it's so hard to be invested, and we're trying to talk about how this event's gonna go or what. But none of us have played a Series 1 game in the last since we came back from San Diego.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not true.
It's
I played one yesterday.
No one cares about any evidence that is contrary to my narrative. Like
I'm gonna argue with you about that a little bit. I think that we're clearly seeing a lot of the Series 2 ideas that like are doing well initially. They're springboarded off of Series 1 stuff, right? I mean, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that, like, when you look at, like, the Nino Pokebros tour, right, and what did well, you're seeing a lot of Poison Garganackle, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of, like, inspiration from ideas that were successful in Series 1, right? Like, Rain, Palafin, and Iron Hands is a common Series 2 comp, but that's not inherently because, like, oh, it's just by far the best thing. It's because it's inspired and we're drawn upon it based off of Series 1. So I think
I'm not saying that that's not the case. Like, I'm not saying there isn't inspiration.
Just what are you saying then?
That in a form, I couldn't care less about a format without Iron Hands anymore, and that's just sad.
Yeah. So, like, just a reminder for everybody, Liverpool will be Series 1 because it is, this coming weekend. It's going to be before this format transitions. And they did say somewhere, I think it's actually maybe in the rules doc that says that the format for the tournament is going to be whatever matches the Battle Stadium rules at the time, which is why Orlando is going to be Series 2, even though it's like 2 days into February or something. So that's going to be a bit scary. But this one, Series 1, we over here in the US don't have any more tournaments. Locals aren't around, so checked out. It's goodbye, Series 1. But over there, they're still going to be busting their asses trying to find the best team to use in Series 1. There's like 536 players signed up for this tournament, so it's going to be a pretty good one to watch. I'm still excited to watch it just because, as like Gavin was saying, like these Series 1 comps can definitely still inform Series 2 ideas, and so to see if there's like cool approaches that people take to either brand new stuff that they come up with or stuff that's inspired by San Diego. It's going to have an impact on tournaments going forward, and especially when you have a tournament this large. So that's just always exciting. Like, I'm just gonna be happy to watch this one. When is it? When does the stream start? Actually, I think about.
Jake's at Jake at Ake said that everyone's a little bit quiet.
Dominic Stout is a little quiet. We're gonna turn him up. And then
Oh,
Rajan's gonna
Gavin's
start
just
playing
very
the mic.
he's
quiet.
fine.
And then also
Yeah,
Gavin
Gavin's very
died.
quiet.
Gavin did die. So I've got like
He said he's DC'd.
okay. Well, we'll just keep going for now. Unfortunately, Rajan and Adi are taking a bit more screen space now, so
No, you're taking the most screen space.
yeah, anyway. Okay. So, we'll keep going. Hopefully, Gavin. Oh yeah, it seems like Gavin might be joining back now. Welcome back, Gavin. Hello.
Welcome back.
All right. Welcome back.
Well,
And-
I was gonna say that.
So, you were addressing a question. Oh, it was just somebody mentioning that we were quiet. Okay. I turned up the volume again. So yeah, we were still talking a bit about Liverpool and the number of people going to it. And oh yeah, that's what I was gonna look up. Is when does this stream start for us? Like, does it mention anything? Wait, is it being streamed? It is being streamed, right? It's got an official
It's being
stream.
streamed. I saw like tweets about
Victory Road
that.
is streaming it.
Oh, is it
Victory
Victory
Road is
Road?
streaming it.
Okay.
They're doing a
Yeah,
have they
for some
done
reason-
official regionals.
Europe does not get official regional streams. They just get internets, and Victory Road has been streaming basically all of them, which is honestly, like, no complaints. It's pretty comparable in quality.
Yeah, and consistency is good.
Oh no, the people who've been putting all the work in for VGC community for the last 4 years are getting an event. Oh no.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, I don't know exactly when this one starts, but like, what? Does anybody know what time it is in Europe now? I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, they don't really have.
It's
time
like
zones.
midnight, 1 o'clock, depending on
It's
where you are.
1:20 a.m. in London, which I believe is the same time zone as Liverpool, unless Europe is weirder than I thought.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be hard to watch this one. I forgot for most people. Yeah. So maybe not catching the first couple rounds live, but if you wake up early, you can catch the later rounds.
labor laws won't really let them have the first couple rounds streamed anyway.
Oh, you're right.
so-
Yeah, that's been something a bit different lately. Oh, I thought we were still complaining about Gavin's mic, but no, Raga was saying Gavin's mic is so hype. All right.
Yeah.
The people
It is
love
pretty
Gavin's
hype.
mic.
While we're on the sub, I
Go ahead.
mean, I still just wish we got to I'm really excited for the players that that were at San Diego and who are going to go to Liverpool, especially. I think that's just really interesting because this is going to be one of the formats for me. I don't really know if I've played a format before where the vast majority of people who are playing that tournament only get the one event in it, right? So when people were rolling up to San Diego, there wasn't really the progression there. There was just you get your first regional experience, you get your only regional experience. So you're going to play the team that you're going to regret not using the most. And I know that some folks from Europe came over to play San Diego. I know Billa was there. I know Anash was there, who is
Lou.
now European. Lou was there. I thought Lou was casting this one though.
No, Lou played.
I think Lou is casting.
No, she
No,
was
no, no.
Oh,
no,
wait,
no,
what?
Lou
Are you
was
talking about?
casting
Oh,
this
for
one.
playing. Lou
okay.
played San Diego. Sorry, I was
So-
getting confused.
I am really interested about what the players who got to have a San Diego experience inform their Liverpool experience. And what that tells them. Because that sort of personal, that sort of growth from tournament to tournament is what makes formats interesting. And they're gonna have that advantage, whereas others won't.
Yeah, and I mean, we already talked about Garganackle, but I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of in Series 1 and Series 2, so I don't expect that Pokemon to go anywhere. In terms of other, major metagame things, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to give my hot take and just try to, start a little bit of fire. And I feel like Europe enjoys boring more, and so they're just going to, be spamming Dondozo. I feel like there's going to be so much Dondozo over there. And whether or not it all rises to the top or not, I feel like it'll rise to the top just from the matter of fact that a lot of the top players I think are going to use it. I don't know. I that's just my personal take, but I'm mostly just trying to stoke the fire.
I'm going to take a stab at this. I think the one thing that was doing consistently well on ladder before San Diego that did not show up at San Diego was Volcarona. Volcarona was everywhere on top ladder, and there's like 3 in top 32, which makes me think that all the good players using Volcarona were either Colin and Raghav and Chemo, or they were European. So I think that Europeans are going to be busting it out there.
That's fair. No, I like that take. Was Volcarona on? No, it was never on Maluka's team. It was on that one team that did well it was a similar Baxcalibur team, but the one with Sableye that won some Japanese tournament. But
yeah, I think that got like 17th or something.
Mm.
Yeah, I think Zomag was using that, right?
Yeah, Zomag was using a team like that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm also gonna. Sorry, I'm not gonna let anyone else talk. I'm just gonna keep firing off my own.
Keep them coming.
Go.
I think that part of it too is that when GSock's team like did super well on ladder initially, and people were like, "What the hell is this GXC? What's going on here?" I think that people like had certain takeaways from this of like, "Oh, Baxcalibur is real. Oh, Tauros Water is a real mon." I think that now that he showed up with it, said this was me all along, and I did all of this stuff with it, and I continue to innovate on it, and then I won the biggest regional ever, is going to make it so that people are going to pick apart every single minutia that is on that team and try to spin it off into something sick. It's basically like a holy book. And it's like there's just like the Book of Poison Garganackle.
I think the most important thing that San Diego taught, which I hope or think Europeans will probably pull from, especially if they talk to any friends that they had that appeared at San Diego, is just how important Protect is in open team sheet formats, and how you might not have initially thought that going into the tournament. I know we've had takes about Protect in different videos or streams or whatever. But that still was like the biggest, like the only IRL open team sheet tournament we had. And those sorts of lessons will convey. So I do think that like Maluka's team especially benefits from the value of having all those protects, and benefits from like what that does for your own security while playing. And I do think Europeans going to Liverpool, or just anyone going to Liverpool, are going to be able to see that, whereas folks at San Diego didn't necessarily have that hindsight.
Yeah, I think having Protect more often on your team in open team sheet makes your opponent's plays less certain, and that's the strongest aspect of it, is that you're not even like for your own safety, but just to like make them have to think harder, work harder, find better lines that have to cover for that. And that is probably the coolest aspect of just like Protect an open team sheet, or the lamest, depending on how you feel about open team sheet. But no, that's a reasonable take. And I do think that Maluka's team is something that a lot of people are going to try to put their own personal flavor on for Liverpool. I also think Abaye brings up a good point that Murkrow was like this thing everywhere, and obviously it completely ate ass at San Diego. Will we continue to see it eat ass, or were all the good Murkrow players across the pond?
There are no good Murkrow players.
I mean, that's where I'm at.
Well, to be fair, like the Murkrow players that did really well in online tournaments, by and large, were European, I think.
Because they love boring
like
stuff.
Now, granted,
they love boring stuff. It's just like stuff that's slightly worse.
It's just like I think they like hyper offense stuff a little more. I think our American hyper offense players are like a more crackhead and would use unorthodox stuff, and Europeans like straightforward hyper offense stuff.
We're just saying stuff, man. None of this is like true.
Offense. I think what it is that like I've noticed a trend with European players to go for like these really like well-rehearsed lines-based teams, right? And it's like the type of thing where it's like it's not so much anymore that you're trying to play like you want to go into it knowing exactly what you're doing turn by turn in these matchups. And I think that like a lot of the European teams that we've seen recently were successful were like that, right? Like I'd argue that like Edu's run at Worlds was very much so like a meticulously planned team with the Thunderous Shadow Rider, and that's why it did so well. And it's like Murkrow Goldengo is absolutely that, where it's like in order to get value out of it.
Did you say that or bad?
In order to get value out of that?
In order to get value out of bad?
That. You need to be using it in a way where you're not planning on just like sweeping your opponent like turn one with Murkrow Goldengo, right? Like, you need it to be able to like capitalize on the momentum that you're getting from it and say like, okay, but then I force them to knock out my Goldango, and then I'm gonna switch in this Pokemon, and then that's gonna sweep them because of this, and that.
Yeah,
And
this
it's like,
is cap.
no, I think this is
This
real.
is just cap, man.
Oh
The
my
last
God.
3.5 years of mods have been going huge. Everyone has been lines AF when all we've been playing is Dynamax. Like, what are you talking? I mean, like, yeah, fine. We all forgot
Nah,
how to
dude,
play
Lunadon
Pokemon.
didn't have lines. It just had vibes.
See, vibes teams are the best.
Yeah, but this is all vibes. This whole format is vibes. Like,
A little
That's
bit.
true.
what kind of vibe? Like, you sometimes you just take your mod and then it just decides to smoke some grass. Like,
I
it's
think-
just all vibes.
I mean, no, I think that like the format is very vibes, but I think that the two archetypes that are the most lines are probably Murkrow, like Hyper Offense, and Dondozo. Those are probably the teams that, you know, like, I don't know, look at certain. They look for like exactly like certain things on the opponent's team, like, oh, how well can they handle choice specs, make it rain. Oh, this is what they're like, the only way that they're going to deal with that, so I'm going to, you know, deal with that with this, I don't know, my Garchomp or something. And then Dondozo teams are always looking for what you have to beat Dondozo, and then to just kind of eliminate that and Dondozo you, or like maybe, you know, not going for Dondozo at all. This is coming from a guy who's played like one tournament total with Dondozo, so I don't know. But I mean, that's also to go back to what Rajan was saying, where this is a small meta take on his comment earlier, where he said like, "You're just saying stuff." This is Tub Takes, Rajan. That's what we're here to do. So we're here to give takes. Okay.
Then
No.
here's my hot take. The meta is going to be dictated by how many videos Adi puts out between now and Liverpool.
Get working, Adi. Chop chop. You want to?
3. It's gonna be 3. And 3 of us are gonna be in those videos. It's gonna be crazy.
Wow. You're gonna be in 3 of those videos.
Yeah, Adi's gonna be in
I'm
all
gonna
of
be
them.
in those videos.
I would
Rajan's
hope.
gonna be in one of them, and Gavin's gonna be in one of them, and Alex is in none of them because he's not good at Pokemon anymore.
That's true. I actually just refused. Adi was like, "Can you please?" And I was like, "No,
Absolutely
bro."
wash.
Wait, hold on. I need to yell about Murkrow Goldango for 2 more seconds. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
get in there. Get in there. Get in there.
It's a fine archetype. It's just not a 30% usage archetype. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the reason that Murkrow popped off so well is just like with Haze, it gave a built-in Dondozo answer, and people didn't know how to beat Dondozo like earlier. It's kind of like I think of Dondozo and beating it as like that IQ curve meme, where the low IQ meme is I just hit it, lol. The meme was like, no, I need Haze and Unaware in order to counter it, and then the high IQ one is just hit it, lol.
Mm-hmm. Yup. It is
I
though.
like that.
Just hit it.
Lol.
So, I agree. I think Murkrow Goldango is clearly a more than a 3% usage archetype, like we saw in Top Cut at San Diego. We bet on how many Murkrow were going to be in Top Cut at San Diego, and the overwhelming number of people on Twitter and on my YouTube channel said they're going to be over 7 of them. How many Murkrow do you think are going to be in Top Cut of Liverpool?
Oh, not this again.
I think it's
Top
fun.
32 cut or top 16?
They have top 32. They have like 500 people.
3. Locking it in 3. Final answer.
I want to. I feel like Gavin is kind of right on the money, and so I'll go over, but not much over. I'm picking 4.
Rajan 3.5. Do it.
All right, 2 3s.
I was gonna do 2 3s and 2 4s. That works out. Okay, we all kind of have the same idea. Like we do all agree that like it's gonna have a better performance than it did at San Diego, but probably not by much.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. I really wish that like I was taking money bets before San Diego about Murkrow usage.
Yep.
With like anyone on Twitter. Like I was thinking about it. It's like there was a lot of ways to make a lot of money on that one. And
Yeah.
that wasn't even like that hard.
I mean, we could have we could have made money on like just like Pokemon stocks, right? You could have made money on Pelipper too. We were pretty confident that was going to do well. But like
Can
we
you
have inside
imagine
info for San Diego. We
Actually,
knew that
that-
all the good players weren't running it.
The traitor.
Raise
Raise your hand if you
that
brought the
bet.
best bird to San Diego.
Pelipper flock, let's fly.
Oh, I did bring Pelipper, so.
Yeah.
No, it just would have been one of those easy things. It's like Murkrow won't even be the bird that has won't even be the second highest used bird at San Diego Top Cut. $20.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Run
that being
20
said,
times.
like I remember one of my opponents who went like 6-4 was using Edu's Murkrow team and just like straight up rental, and they went 6-4 with it, which is pretty good for someone who's it was their first tournament. If Edu is using that team, he's probably top cutting, right? Like, so I do think that there are more Europeans who use Murkrow well or have been building out that archetype, and it wouldn't surprise me to see more top cut.
I guess if we're gonna talk about it in a skill intensive way and like strong quote air quotes, like I guess it's just gonna be the bigger like who is actually playing back row, right? Like because I think we all agree that the scariest part of the team is Murkrow and then like a Specs Goldango. The Garchomp and Hydreigon are fine, but like who cares? Like that's the actual scary part of the team. And if you're playing the game where you're like using your fronts so that Goldango sweeps with next to Murkrow and like you can position it that way, like then I can definitely see it. And instead of just like throwing it at the front, going, I win, right? I win, right? I win, right? And then you don't.
Yeah. I think that like Garchomp falling off is like actually one of the bigger stories about San Diego that we don't talk about a lot. Where it's like there was like 2 in top 16 and like I think just like 3 in top 32. Like that's crazy for the Mon that was just like the appointed like best ground type and really the only ground type.
Well,
Yeah, I think it's just that like
no, the reason is Pelipper, man. That's why Garchomp fell off.
Rajan wants to say that it's just all the Pelipers. I don't know. I mean, is it really just the Pelipers? I don't know. I think there's got to be more to it than that, right?
It kicks that guy's butt.
It sure does, though. It sure does. I will not deny it.
But I think that like there was like just a natural thing of like I think that there's been like something that's been said in VGC for the last like 10 years, which is that like the best ground Pokemon in a format is always one of the best Pokemon, right? Because that's just been true.
It has.
Because we've had Landorus T. And like I think that like we still kind of use that as a baseline toward its assumption of automatically like, oh yeah, Garchomp must be good. And like it's like I mean, if you look at all the tier list videos, right? Like everyone's putting Garchomp in S tier just because it must be. But it's like if you look at it, it's like okay, but is it though?
Now,
and like
Okay, but also, if Goldengo is the number 1 used Pokemon, then maybe it is. You know,
what's
yeah,
hold
Garchomp
on.
doesn't even Oko it.
One history question. When we say like ground types are historically the best Pokemon in the format, was it not always Landorus and Garchomp? I'm trying to think if there was ever another guy. Oh, Groudon, of course, in the restricted formats. Groudon, that's fair. I didn't count that, but no, that's totally reasonable.
I mean, I guess that translate in that everyone's playing Series 2 right now, and they're like, huh. Every team is just like has 4 months weak to ground types because no one really respects that guy. And Chomper sucks. And this guy sucks. And this guy sucks. Like, what do we even do?
Yeah, and like that's why I'm saying like that's why Terra Poison Garganacl did so like one, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I can just click Wide Guard versus the only ground type. This is awesome. And then it's like you have no weak. And then like the only psychic type is Armarouge, which is trying to click Expanding Force too. It's like, oh no, I'm weak to Indeedee. Ah, I'm so scared.
They don't even run Psychic half the time. Just run Dazzling Gleam for no real reason.
So like I think like that's like kind of the big shaper. Just like, okay, if Garchomp sucks, then does that like unlock the next level of team building in this format?
Where are your ground? I think
Excadrill was the best Pokemon for a while in 2020, and we forgot about that one too.
Excadrill and Rhyperior, those are great examples, yeah.
Big fan of the where did your ground resists go turning into why do you have ground resists, bro?
So I wanna make sure that we're answering some of the stuff in chat. There were 2 questions that I saw go by that we didn't really address that seem on topic to what we're talking about now. One was about none other than Garchomp. I'm trying to find who it was from. Somebody here we go, from Edel. Said, do you think Tank Chomp, or just like Garchomp in general, is a sleeper pick for Series 2 since Iron Hands is so good? So I know we're talking about Series 1 right now, but I just thought I'd bring it up because, you know, we're talking about grounds. I think from the most recent tournament, we'll talk about it when we get to the Nino's Pokebros tour, but they're like, I think the winning team and maybe even the runner-up team both had like quadruple ground week and no flying mons. Like, the ground types should start to make their way onto your team. It looks like it might be their time to shine. So I believe in Garchomp. And then another question that's bringing it back to Series 1 said, what about Annihilate Mousehold? Oh, this is from Abe. What about Annihilate Mouse Hub? That also Turbo ate shit at San Diego. What do you guys think about Mouse Ape? I guess going into this tournament.
Okay, I'm gonna answer again because I love the sound of my own voice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what we saw, I think that when we're going into early format, right? Because this is still technically an early format thing. Everyone was looking for initially pairs of Pokemon that just had naturally really good synergy with each other, and then saying okay, well if I have these two mons and I try to build around them, then I'm already starting off at a good point. And I think what did well was the Pokemon that had natural synergy with each other when they didn't need to be on the field next to each other to have value. But what kind of ate shit was stuff like Murkrow Goldango, where it needs to be on the field to have a value, and Annihilate Mousehold, where they need to be on the field together in order to do something. Especially when you're
combos, you mean?
Yeah, it's you have those two mon combos that need to be there in order to do anything. It's just it's not great. I think that in order for it to be stronger, people need to be coming up with more additional synergies, so it doesn't just feel like dead weight when it's not led in exactly the one context.
So that's the funny part about that set too, because I think I'm glad that everyone kind of realized it afterwards. But to make that mon good with Annihilate, you need Beat Up with safety goggles, right? You just need that set specifically. Because if you don't have goggles, and the best mon in the format, hands down, just completely ruins your strategy. And it's open team sheet, so you know that they can't ignore it. So you have to you can't. It is. I think it is completely unviable without, and that's my unviable without safety goggles Beat Up for the Annihilate situation. Which means the thing that makes that mon not dog shit isn't on that mon, which is Pop Bomb Wide Lens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I feel and I think that's why
So you're saying it's a paradox?
Exact what?
Because the best set has safety goggles and Beat Up, and it
Alex
also the best
is really trying to transition to series 2, man.
I'm not trying
exactly.
to.
No, but all more I'm getting at is I think the reason it was bad, very bad, is that you knew in open even if you know that it has to be goggles Beat Up, when you're playing it on ladder or something, there's a chance it's just gonna wide lens pop bomb your ass, right? And actually do damage. But when you have it in open team sheet, you know this mon is worthless. It really does. It does make your roots against a strategy more effective, and goes to say that you need mons that do passive things as opposed to actively having to press a button next to another Pokemon and them being useless. Pelipper, as an example, is a very strong passive. It helps support your team without having to click buttons. And I think if your synergies don't require the strongest, the most important resource of a Pokemon game, i.e. your entire turn, then you're in a lot better position.
What do you mean, dude? Pelipper has to click U-turn.
That's true.
No, it just clicks Hydro Pump and it takes KOs.
It does click Hydro Pump. It's a good move. So I don't know. I mean, we could probably talk about Series 1 for a while, but there are a couple of other things to talk about in the list here. Maybe we'll come back to it if we have time at the end, or if people ask questions about Series 1. But
Wait,
Liverpool.
are we not doing smart money?
Yeah, I forgot the smart money part. It was your job to bring it up.
Yeah, I brought it up.
Yeah.
Who's got smart money for Liverpool?
I'm on first. And he's gonna be pissed. Yeah, get owned, Gavin.
He literally told you not to mention it.
You think I was ever bet on Enosh to win an event?
No, I'm more kidding. I don't really have that's mainly my take is that folks who I like that there are some folks who got to play San Diego and Liverpool. I forgot that he said that, but
Yeah,
I
like Jay.
and so he's doing. I think Billow's playing is playing Liverpool too. So I really do think that that's really strong. So I guess my take is just folks who got to play San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
My bet is on Pokey Alex because there was too much production value in the I'm returning back video unretirement after there were no events to retire from. And it's you don't put that much effort into the video if you're not also playing the format, because that'd be kind of weird to bomb after that.
That is a great one. Because I was caught off guard by the question and I don't really know who else to pick, we'll go with the classic Eric Rios. Just because Eric always shows up, and didn't Eric win Liverpool last year? Was that the event that Eric won with Rinya's son or something? I don't know.
Yeah, he won USC, and he won a European regional, and I forget which one that was. Might have been Liverpool. Okay, my pick is Matty Morgan, Irish player who every time he goes to a tournament, I think he does really well, and he kind of flows under the radar and never really does well enough to like, break through and get recognition for it. He got top 4 at the Welcome to Paldea tournament. He made day 2 Worlds, and no one had him on his radar. And like, I don't know, just so consistently good. And has like I think he's a lock to top cut. It's just a question of whether he could break through and get that win finally. And yeah, so he's my smart money pick.
All right, we got our smart monies. We'll see who ends up being the most right. If any of them actually do win, or whoever makes it the farthest. Maybe we'll note it down and keep track of for next week when we're talking about the results of that tournament. But yeah, as for Liverpool, that's about it. Unless you guys, want us to come back to it or ask any questions about Series 1 and stuff, we will be happy to provide our takes. Moving on, though, the next couple of things that we're going to talk about are just some, I guess, some things that just kind of like happened the last week, more current events related. And the first one, let me get a good page for this. This is the best page I have. I didn't sign up for Vancouver, so I don't have those numbers. Maybe somebody else in the call who did sign up for Vancouver.
Are you doing Vancouver, Gavin?
Gavin's got me. We can see where those numbers are at. I wrote them down where they were at the time of this, and yeah, no, it's still going up. Okay, so that one's not capped or anything. Okay, so last week, there was the. We recorded on Monday, and then Tuesday was the first regional sign up for Orlando. And
Orlando's insane.
Orlando was nuts. My goodness. I think I was actually streaming at the time that I signed up for this one. I did like a little speed run.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the speed run was pretty embarrassing, actually.
I know. I mean, like, I just was like, if I hit enter, I could have been like sub 1 minute, but I just like sat there like, is my credit card correct? Is my credit card correct? Anyway, because once you make it to the pay page, you are safe. You don't have to. But this section is titled Regional Sign Up Madness because that's what it is. It's madness. These events have been filling up. VGC is like more popular than ever, I guess. I mean, I think it's by nature of, Pokemon's on the Switch and Scarlet and Violet selling really well.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield, like the hype probably died down because the events got canceled and such because of the pandemic, and by the time it came back, Sword and Shield wasn't a new game. And so I feel like Scarlet and Violet is just getting such like unprecedented popularity. And so these signups are like an event of their own. It's just like, all right, everybody, like we're, making sure that we're at the computer 10 minutes early because you don't want to miss it. It's nuts.
How many are Vancouver, Gavin?
Have I what?
How many are at Vancouver? Yeah.
334.
So if we have I just need to be clear, from Orlando and Knoxville, since the entry fees are 70 a pop, just from registrations for those 2 tournaments that are on the screen right now, that's about $100,000 from registrations.
It is.
Like, not to say that events aren't expensive and staff isn't a part of it or whatever, and I'm not really like one that knows the exact magic behind TPCI funding of regionals and where those sorts of things happen, but that's a crisp 6 figures. Like, we gotta be able to give more than $45 and a smack on the ass for finishing first at one of the events, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a smack on the ass?
I didn't finish first, brother.
I mean, so the reason, of course, is that TPCI handles the pricing and the regional organizers handle the cost of entry. And so the regional organizers get to choose whatever they want, and they don't have to worry about what the pricing is. It'd be nice if we had higher pricing, obviously, especially if we continue to get ridiculous numbers at events. It would be nice if TPCI was like, okay, you just have to bid more to get these events, and then we'll increase pricing as a result, or not. Like, they're a billion-dollar company; they can do whatever they want. They have the budget to increase our pricing. But yeah, I know. I definitely want to see more pricing. The entry fees are super high, but if they're getting 700 entrants and people who are willing
at
to pay
Orlando,
why would they charge $70 if people are willing to pay that much? And it kind of sucks, and it sucks for juniors and seniors especially. But if people keep signing up, they're gonna keep charging that.
Yeah, I think that we should go back to like the lotto system, but like and make it free, and like just best of one single elim. That way,
Yeah.
like because like a lot of people are complaining like they want day 2 Swiss or whatever because the tournaments are too long and stuff. Well, if you lose round 1, you can go home. And I think that that is just kind of something that people aren't valuing high enough. Is back in my day, back in maybe not back before my day even. Pokemon was different. Anyway, that is the other thing to bring up, though. I don't think anybody mentioned it yet. 758 players in Orlando. 758 registered.
Oh, who wants to go there?
I didn't want to go to Orlando. I still don't want to go to Orlando. I just want to play more Pokemon. And
We're just going because Frontier had like $100 flights.
The flights were very cheap.
because the flights costed as much as the entry fee.
It did, though. It did. It
Yeah.
in fact did. It is messed up.
My flights, my logistics are like $70 for flights, like $80 to share a hotel with Adi, and then like $70 for an entry fee. They're each the same thing.
And you paid $70 for the game. It actually just all evens out.
It's ridiculous.
What's crazier to me is that we have over 600 signups for Knoxville. Knoxville.
I know, right?
Knoxville was the regional in 2019 that had 54 players. In fact, our very own Alex Underhill top cut that regional.
Yo, 8 out of 50.
He top cut the Knoxville 2019 midseason showdown.
Was it actually 50, Adi?
It was 54 people.
The one that I got top 8 at? Man, I don't even know. Like, that, there's a reason I,
Wikipedia.
like, wrote that one out, and I don't think of it as an accomplishment. Because, like, I never think of that event.
Damn, I can't believe you went 3-2 there.
Yeah, right? Incredible.
Dude, someone went 4-3 and got 80 CP. You know how hard you have to work to get 80 CP nowadays?
I was going to say, did Gavin get 80 CP?
I got 80 CP.
Yeah.
You went 8-2.
He went 8-2 and won a round of cut.
I know. I had a performance that legitimately would be like pretty good at an internats, and it was like 80 points.
80 points. Yeah. We're bouncing all over the place. We're bouncing all over the place. But something that I was like tweeting about last week is like, man, like we need. And this was after San Diego, before even Orlando or anything. Registration went up, I think. Is that like we need like elevated regional payouts, not just like I'm like I know prizing is a big thing. We talked about prizing already, and like it is pretty crazy that this much money is going in and only this much is coming back out. But championship points are crazy. Like Gavin got 80 points. Gavin could do that 2 more times and still not qualify for Worlds. He could do it a 3rd time and barely make it. He would have 320 points, which is like just enough to clear that bar.
Just that, like, we're valuing like winning a mid-season double header in a place where it's like 5 people show up, right? Like that is worth more points than like, or that's worth the same amount of points as like top 8 at a crazy.
I got a trophy for that.
And it's like, I mean, I think like what it is just like
Behind me.
the math of how much regional should pay out is so variant depending on like one like I mean like what are the signups like for the format in general, right? Because we know that regional decks is always going to have more people.
Yeah.
But it's also just like from the side, it's just
Because it's the best. Let's just be
It's
honest.
the best, but also new generation, obvious. Like that
new gen
factor.
hype.
Yeah, like let's talk about Maluka wins a 600 odd person tournament.
$600 person tournament. What?
How many people? 600 odd
Oh, I thought you said $600.
No,
said
no, no.
600
I was like
odd.
530.
So Maluka wins that guy. Chuppa's in second. Jody's top 4. Who's the other top 4?
I had it right
the
here.
Clippers 1, 2, 3, 5.
Aaron Brock.
And like they all like crawl through so much, and like they're like halfway to Worlds invites at that point. They're like 2/3, right? Like that's insane.
Okay. That being said, they, given the numbers that we were having, they probably did the right thing in not having a fall season, because it probably would have been very comparable to 2019 where we had 54-player Knoxville regionals, going into 2020, where you have these like 600-player events in Dallas or whatever it was, and we're giving out the same pricing. They kind of learned their lesson that the post-Worlds end of a generation regionals tend to do very poorly, and the first regionals of a new generation do very well, and it doesn't make sense to have those in the same season.
Yeah, I like that. I think that makes a lot of
it.
sense. I'm also just pro anything that removes Sword and Shield from my eye line even faster, frankly.
No more
It could have hit
Diamondbacks.
500. Like, just, I don't care.
Yep. Okay, so let's bring it back to the numbers in Orlando, and specifically just like how funny the numbers are because of how bad they are. So
Pretty funny
it's
numbers.
at 758. I believe this is video game total. I think that it does include juniors and seniors. So
Pay the same price.
for the same price, absolutely. That's
Can you
a different
imagine
point
your
aside.
get your 6-year-old a Christmas present. Don't sign them up for Orlando regionals. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, no. I have a real take on this, which is that the reason that juniors and seniors get like exactly 12 people every single time is because, or like 5 to 12 people every single time, is because the only people who can justify paying $70 for the entry fee are the people who are going to be making money on that, which is some amount of prize money plus the exorbitant travel awards that you get for being a junior, and a free trip to Australia plus the free trip for the Guardian. They get a lot of money out of that. But again, that's why you never see like random juniors sign up. It's super rare. It's always the same group of people who are competing for travel awards and are good enough to get the $1,000 in prizing that you get for winning the regional. I think it's like $1,000, right? Like there's a reason that it's only 8 people every single time.
The reason is because the reason is because the 15-year-old whose mom comes to the event and his 6-year-old brother doesn't play juniors because mom can't justify dropping $70 for the kid to roll up with their in-game like Sunflora or something. Like,
Right,
that's
what I'm
a
saying.
real.
And then no one else can sign up unless, but like if no one signs up because $70 is exorbitant for a junior to play, then just signing up gets you $1,000 for free. So like there will always be exactly 8 people who sign up, right? And then never any more than that, pretty much, like plus or minus 5.
I just disagree with that, mainly because I truly think the reason the kids aren't signing up for the tournaments is because they aren't able to incidentally by being at the tournament and finding out about it then because their older sibling is playing. Like, that's the metric in which juniors and seniors, like, outside of like established ones.
When I was a 13-year-old, right? Like, I was
How old
able
are you
to.
now?
I'm 20.
Don't answer that. It's a trap. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, no. If he knows how old I am, then he gets magic powers.
No, it's just like you barely.
But it's like
day.
I let my mom know that there was like a regional like nearby, and she said sure because like she could do like work stuff, like she could like make a work meeting there, and I don't know, like I convinced her to go, and like that worked out very well for me. And it's like for most of the seniors back in the day, it was kind of like they were the ones driving it more than anyone else. Like it wasn't like there was like an older sibling like was him to go.
But like, I mean, like, fine, maybe like a senior is more involved and it was a smaller thing. But I just think right now, right, when you have the Switch, new game, highest grossing, best selling, fastest game, like whatever that Nintendo's got. You got the games for Christmas or whatever holiday. Your older sibling got it. You got it. You can play together, trade Pokemon, whatever. And that experience of like, I really think there just has to be some amount of organic signups for a younger child, and I do think that like you're not going to let the 16-year-old go to the event by themselves for the most part unless you trust the strangers they met on the internet. I'm not really sure. So
one step that is missing in the process, especially for the younger generations, is probably locals. Locals are a much easier gateway into getting in events.
That's the other thing. The most mad I've gotten at Adi during the last calendar year and this one was his dumb shit take about locals being bad. And the main
Let's blast Adi on the air, man. Let's just take him down, all right?
I will. But no,
I did not say that explicitly, but
no, it's just more a matter of like it really is a bummer because like you're only gonna get the folks who like know they care and are gonna sign up in advance and like gatekeeping the IRL Pokemon experience to the person who like was the fastest on the buzzer in their 6-minute window to sign up for the $70 tournament in an awful location. It's just sad.
Something that we didn't mention, or this episode, but we might have mentioned it in another one, is like for San Diego, wasn't the registration like well before the games were out, and like
Yes.
like so we
It
didn't know
was.
what we didn't know what the format was going to be. We didn't know that the games were going to be good. We didn't even like there were so many like unknowns at the time, and you just had to sign up. To think how many people might have signed up for San Diego if not even just like the price, but like the fact that like how much early you had to sign up for it, because it's going to sell out. Man, it could have been nuts. So I keep getting like we keep getting sidetracked every time I try to bring this up. But Day 2 Swiss, like let's talk about Day 2 Swiss, and how that we don't have that. So like the thing is that we've mostly put up with it. It was like we would have loved to have had it at San Diego. We would have loved to have had it at Dallas in 2020 at these larger events, but we haven't been hitting these huge numbers every single time. But with back-to-back events here in the U.S., yeah, pull up Burns' tweet. Burns, if you link it in Discord, I'll grab it. Or I guess
drop it in Tub Nation.
You could put it in the chat here too. I'll grab it. So okay, yeah, there it is. Let me open that. Is that pulling up in the right tab? Is this the stream tab? It is. Yeah. So Burns wrote up a thing about Day 2 Swiss, and probably is going to describe things a lot more eloquently than I will here now live for you. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that like X and 2s, some of the people that after 10 rounds go 8-2 will miss top 32. We're gonna be playing 10 rounds, and it's just gonna be such like madness. And we were talking about the points earlier. Points are pretty absurd for like a 700 plus person event, and you're gonna be walking around with like we're gonna be walking away with like chump change for finishing even in the top cut. Just like a small fraction of a world's invite for making it to the top out of like 700 people. The winner getting 200 CP isn't even enough for a world's invite on its own, but I feel like anybody that wins Orlando should be deserving of a world's invite. But it's just that aside, let's talk about Day 2 Swiss. So I don't know. Anybody else have anything to add?
I will say, I think that like Day 2 Swiss isn't some magic bullet. Like there are still issues with it.
Sure.
Resistance not carrying over is kind of silly because it makes it so that like the 9-0 and 8-1 will always have better tie breaks than like the 7-2 or the 8-2, whatever it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It is also just a dramatically better system. Like Pokemon is a volatile game. The more you can minimize like single elimination, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think that like one thing is we do need to realize that folks who right now are able to do regional weekends in a weekend, i.e. leaving for a lot of flights after work on Friday, leaving Sunday evening, going home. And I do think that for a lot of folks, Day 2 Swiss does just mean like a later flight out or another night at like whatever location, which further gatekeeps accessibility because you might have to either take like a Sunday night, like you might have to take another night at the hotel and another day off from work, which makes it even harder.
Win the regional.
Yeah, but
if you don't like, only 8 people end up in top cut, and Day 2 Swiss will still end at a very reasonable time. Heck, top cut is going to end at a pretty reasonable time as well, but just not going to be done by like 1 o'clock like it normally is. It'll be done at like 4 o'clock instead.
They're not overcomplicating the amount of time based off of it because again, VGC hasn't really done it. So I don't know like when they're gonna start it. If they, for example, start it at the same times that they're starting cut, also, and then there's the 5 rounds and whatever.
And also, like for real, like for the timing perspective, we got to remember that we're also gone into the habit of like streaming every top 8 set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you simply just don't do that, then you can like save time, right? Like I'm pretty sure that if you just do all of cut, like you just
do 1 round per cut basically.
Yeah, if you just do 1 round per cut, then you don't actually increase the time at all, and you just end up with a better format for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But is that like, and I'm not disagreeing because I do think that day two Swiss overall would just be a better sequence. So I do want to make that, or like a better structure. So I do want to make that like apparent up front. But do you think that for folks who aren't there, like missing out on those additional top like streamed rounds is something we
Well,
want too? Because like we're getting like the Pokemon streams are getting pretty good numbers on Twitch right now too. There's a
imagine.
lot of people who are interested in these tournaments that aren't
I mean,
there.
there's people playing them, so of course there's people watching them. You know, there's like if there's 700 people that want to go to Orlando
Like,
physically, there are that many more people who are going to watch it, right?
I do think losing out on those
Right.
stream rounds isn't necessarily a good
Like,
thing.
you're not. You're
You're
streaming
not.
the same number of games.
It's the same number of
It's
games.
just not
Are you?
top cut. It's gonna be
Sure,
day two
fine.
Swiss instead.
Yeah, I know.
whatever.
You stream the second day of Swiss, and for every game that you lose from Top Cut, you're just getting another high level game of the top 32 people playing Swiss. So,
Sure. I just
main
meant like
thing-
some of the cut games, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
the main reason that DJ Swiss is better. I mean, obviously there's like fairness arguments. Mainly fairness arguments, but like the other argument is that one, you end at a slightly more reasonable time on Saturday,
mhm.
and so you get to like eat dinner before 10 p.m. like generously 10 p.m. On a Saturday night, which is always going to be crowded. Like it's impossible to find food downtown San Diego. It's not impossible, but it's like there were long waits everywhere. It kind of sucked.
Did you not
you have
like
to go to
the
bed,
Pizza Hut
prep for
that we
cut.
got?
That's what I'm saying. We had to order Pizza Hut, pay way too much money for Pizza Hut. It was really
Did
stupid.
you not like our two
Oh,
large
y'all should have
pizzas?
come to the taqueria where we were at. That was sick.
Well,
And
we
then
were gonna try
like
it out.
we wanted to prep too. We just like tired. We wanted to go back to the hotel. Which is the other thing is like you're done earlier. You get more time to enjoy the city, and you don't need to go back to the hotel to prepare because in top 32 cut I mean Jody didn't, so maybe you don't have to, but like
That's
you really
tough.
should prepare for your top cut matches at least a little bit, especially an open team sheet where you can like see their team sheet ahead of time and you have all the info. You can at least like run through some lines in your head. If you know it's a bad matchup, maybe play some games. Generally speaking, the more prepared player is going to have being more prepared is going to increase your chances of winning. And if your goal is to win the regional, you probably should try to maximize your odds of winning that first top 32 game. With Day 2 Swiss, you can't do that because you don't know who your opponent is the next day. You're going to be randomly paired up with someone unless there is like, I think in Orlando, there might be 2 9-0s at the end of Swiss. And so maybe they'll end up playing. But like, other than that, you get to enjoy your Saturday. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's really all there is
Did
to
you
it. And
forget that the next two regionals are in Orlando and Knoxville?
the area that Orlando Regionals is in is actually really nice. There are a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of bars, a bunch of like a big mall, all within a 10-minute walk. I know our hotel
Wait,
is a
you can
10-minute walk away. Yes, you can walk around in this particular area of Orlando. I checked.
I
Google
don't
Maps.
believe you.
I made a point to check.
It's
it is like
underwater.
a really nice area. It's called International Drive. So I'm excited for it. As for Knoxville, the only person who's been to Knoxville, actually, I have been to Knoxville before, but the only person who's been to a regional there is Alex. So he would have to tell you whether or not it's a nice area to walk around in. But
I think when I went to Knoxville, there was a pretty decent Wendy's across from the hotel that I stayed at that Justin and I got a milkshake at. So
Did you get how many straws?
I don't know. Justin inhaled it. It was gone. Before we crossed the street back, it was gone. Anyway, one last thing I want to say about day two before we maybe move past it is about day two Swiss. It is a question because you know, I don't consider myself the best at answering this, and is day two Adi was talking about, you know, the day ending earlier, and that's like, you know, maybe nicer for players. How about this whole thing overall? Is it better or worse for staff, day two Swiss? Because it's probably more work, right?
Gotta be more work.
Yeah.
There's just more people involved, right? Like,
Yeah, on the
I mean,
second
not
day.
necessarily actually. If you're top 32 cut, it's the same number of people basically.
it's not.
Or
It's gonna be
how
way
many
bigger.
people X2? How many X2s do you get? Like at 550 or whatever. Like
Oh
9
wait, what?
rounds
Oh,
X2.
does
9
this
rounds.
does day two Swiss? Oh, I don't know. That's another thing for day two Swiss that I don't know for sure. Rajan, would it still be a top 32 for day two Swiss, or would it be X and 2 day two Swiss?
It's usually X2
Mhm.
and at Orlando, which is 756
X2 and
players,
then -1 rounds, right?
minus
Is that what
one
the
round,
is that what the
9
TCG
round.
does?
Yes, they cap at 9 rounds, I believe.
Okay.
And so there's going to be 67 players who are X2, and I assume they will have to hack check all of them the night of, which is still probably faster than having an additional round and then hack checking 32 people.
Wait, you said there's 67 people that'll be X and 2 or better?
Yes,
because it's one round
there's
less.
going to be one fewer rounds. It's only
Oh,
9 rounds,
okay. Can
Right,
you give me
and
the
then
current
almost half
number?
of those get-
Can you give me the current number of
Yes.
people that'll miss? I'm just because like we were talking about that number earlier. Like, we were talking about how
Yeah.
if there's 10 rounds and a top 32 cut, a certain number of people who went 8 and 2 will miss the cut.
9 people.
Nine people.
are going to miss cut.
Of the what?
That's assuming 756. It's 9 out of the 33 people who go X2 are
Okay.
going to miss.
Man, just imagine being in that bottom 9. Like, you would just be so livid. You would be so mad.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen to me. I can already tell.
Oh, yeah, Mr. 32nd seed. Okay, buddy.
I used up all my good karma for the year.
Yeah. Man, I remember, while we're blasting Adi on stream, I want to blast Adi a
Yeah.
little more.
Go for it.
I remember reading in his Discord chat, just like, man, I always lose my winning in, and I never make it in. And then he just like loses his winning in and does make it in.
I did not say I never make it in. I said this is in fact the second regional I've lost a win in at and top cut anyways. But I am
second
I
in
am
a
It's
row.
not a win in it.
well okay, if you're X1 going into the last round and it's top 8
Just
cut,
an
it's a win in.
It's just
And
an
then
in.
one-
It
I
was just
one
an
X3
in.
that made it. It was just
Adi,
an in.
You said second. Isn't it second in a row?
No, because Vancouver, I cut 2 regionals in a row. Vancouver, I was 6-0, and it was 7 rounds, so I didn't play a win in. But I top cut anyways. I did lose the last round of that one too.
I'm not. I can't shit talk. I haven't cut a regional in like 5 years. So
Now I've cut 3 regionals since you've cut the last one, which is crazy.
Wait, is this
So
count as a regional cut?
what's up?
It's top 32. Yeah, single elim.
I don't know. It's still weird for my brain to process like top 32 as a regional cut. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
well, I mean, top 32 out of 500, the numbers are different, you know?
That's fair. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
out of division.
Like, I got a regional cut,
Well,
top 8 out of
eight out of
54.
54,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rajan's going for the same thing as me.
well,
But-
Burns said that was cap. He said there was more people at that tournament.
I honestly think there were, but, like, I don't know. I'm not going to fact check it. I think it's funnier.
I'm
if I
posting
think
the
it's
link right now. You can check it out yourself.
Okay,
on
but
Wikipedia.
54 is gonna be excluding the people who dropped or whatever, right?
Wait, so what do I click here, Audie? Do I click Knoxville? Or do I
No,
scroll
don't
down?
click
Oh,
it,
I
it's
scroll
stick
down.
bug.
Click the run.exe button.
It says number of players 54.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like
Who
80
won
or
that tournament?
something.
Oh, is that no? That was the Animus tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
That was Z.
All right. So yeah. Let's I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the regional sign up madness? You know, like there's a lot there's a lot, I guess, to say. My cat is coming to visit me. Hello, friend.
Hey,
It's
Bird.
nice that we have really high caps, right? Like Orlando, by the way, if we hit 800 people and 800 people show up, we get top 256 CP. So have fun going to a regional and getting 30 CP.
Dude, I
And
got
also-
40 at the last one. It just feels dumb. Like I don't know. It just feels wrong.
And then I do just like that we aren't capping, right? Like the fact that Knoxville is 605 and you can still sign up for it is really nice. Like
That is
you
a,
know,
yeah.
a last minute trip to Knoxville. It sucks to have to register way in advance. And like my plans are going to change based on how I do in Orlando. If I win Orlando, I'm suddenly in like the stipend race or in the
Yeah.
day 2 race, and I want to go to more events. If I do very poorly, then maybe I need to go to more events to get my Worlds invite.
I think you're
there's
just gonna
no
go to
way.
more events. Like that was what you just said, right? Like what do you mean?
Adi is looking to finish. Adi is looking for a very mid finish. You have to understand, Rajan. He is looking for a
Again,
nice.
Adi said, I can do well, and then I have to go to more events. I can do poorly, and then I'll be sad and I'll have to go to more events.
Yeah, and there's a range
If I
of
do
finishes.
awkward, then I have to go to
No. He's looking for that
No.
middle ground.
If I finish anywhere from 5th to 256th, I don't have to go to more events.
There's a window, Rajan. You have to
Wait,
understand.
there's top 256 CP. Audi, hold the phone. What?
If they add more people and we hit 800 and 800 people show up, We will have.
You're
top
really
two
going to be like
species.
that 30 CP is the difference maker for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's a consideration, right? Like, I'll be at 140 CP. Locals will get me the last 160. It'll be fine
Locals.
if they happen.
Vern.
We'll see.
I mean, I feel like if you're having locals, you could just get the 30 points from there, Audie. Like,
so
like,
true,
I'm
so
pretty
true,
sure
so
that like
true.
one of Austin, Iowa, or Indiana has like points that you can get.
Hi, Vern. Yes.
It just sounds like Audie's currently booking OCIC as we speak.
I'll see you there. Okay, so let's move things along then. We might come back to this topic in the future as these events approach. You know, Knoxville and Orlando on the horizons, Vancouver as well.
I just like that there's more spots. I think that is a good thing, right? Like, I remember the Sword Shield regionals capping at fewer people, I think.
Yeah.
So like the fact that Orlando like just kept on going was a huge plus, right? Like we have definitely been chastising the structure of the tournament and the prize pool and entries and like all sorts of things. But I do want to say from a tournament perspective, they're having more available seats, the convention center being like actually kind of dope, the Wi-Fi working 90% of the time, the staff being excellent, and acknowledging the deficiencies in the hardware and software we're playing with. Like logistically, these events are, I feel like, better than ever. And like I'm not talking about from like a arguably top player perspective, because let's face it, the four of us are washed, but I'm saying that to fit in, but 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 I'm just saying the events themselves have been pretty sick, and the event itself was pretty sick, and I am really excited that we get more slots than we have had in the past.
All right, now that Rajan's done talking, I can finally move us on. Because I don't know what
That's
to say.
right. Yeah, your
okay.
haircut looks good, Alex. By the way.
Thank you. Gina did it. Okay, so.
Oh, she got that fade down. Look at that.
Okay, so what was next? Next, we're gonna be talking about yes. Series 2 ladder live on Showdown. So this I think went down during the show last week. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yep.
I think it went live
Yep.
on Monday last week, like while we were recording, and then as soon as I'd finished, like I go open Discord and everyone's like, "Series 2 is on Showdown now. Go, go, go!" So that's really cool.
This is not a drill.
Yeah. And so yeah, Series 2 live on Showdown alongside Series 1. Series 1 ladder still up. So you can practice for Liverpool if that's where you're going. You can start practicing for Orlando or the other events if that's what you're planning. And then also they added the open team sheet functionality onto the ladder, right? I think it's also in room tours too, but I think the main thing here is that
I will talk about this one.
Yeah, all right, go ahead and why don't you go ahead and explain it all, Rajan? Let's talk about the open team sheet part first, and then we'll come back to the dual ladder thing.
I'll talk about that one. I can talk about the ladder too. In this context, I will give huge shout outs to the Wobblefett and Karthik VGC. They're on the screen right now, but they really did a lot of developing and listened to a lot of my complaining. I don't know like how much of like, Showdown Discord chat I should be discussing, but essentially we had been confronted with and for context, I'm a room owner on PS, completely washed. You will never see me on that server. But we were discussing the problem with open team sheet, closed team sheet. It's not as non-controversial as everyone on Twitter and everyone like was suggesting for a medley of reasons. So first and foremost, the fundamental thing you need to understand is having two ladders for the same format would suck. It would just be bad. The folks who don't want their team sheet like revealed will be going to the closed team sheet ladder, but then there'd be more people playing the open team sheet ladder, and then they're taking games away from each other, and you can't really do both because the processes are competing. And mandating open team sheet as the only way to play Pokemon just turns people off. Whereas like preventing open team sheet in its in general, like which is kind of what the battle spot ladder is. makes it so people can't really practice. So essentially, it had to be a one ladder solution, and you can say that Showdown had a exclamation point show team hide stats already, so you and your opponent could share each other's open sheets, and that was okay for a little bit. But the issue there is when you have pranksters on the ladder who like go open team sheet and they go yeah, and then someone gives their team and they go haha get pranked nerd, and then don't like actually share the team. Like that was a problem we were trying to avoid. And I say we, like I helped. I just complained. But
Russian was
the
like,
idea
you were the idea guy a little bit, right? Just like, you know.
I was the idea guy here. So the idea in this respect was how to have a one ladder solution that keeps players who want open team sheets safe. And the solution was to have an opt-in window in team preview where both players can say that they want open team sheet or close team sheet or reject open team sheet. And then when that happens, if both players accept open team sheet, it'll display your open team sheet in a way that doesn't get saved on replays or if a spectator joins the battle in order to maximize keeping your concepts hidden, and also making it so your opponent can't scam you. And that was a lot of work for them to do. I was like, how about we do it this way? And they go, that's going to be a lot of work. And I'm like, and then eventually they did it, and and they rolled it out with Series 2. And it's been lovely. Honest to God, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really well implemented. There's obviously things like you can prank your opponent, right? And the original compromise was to have while the ladders were in development, there was just open team sheet tours being run on
in the VGC room.
The VGC room on Showdown. But there was a couple issues with that. The first was that the preventing others from like spectators from seeing the teams wasn't coded yet.
Yep.
So like when an open team sheet tour was happening, it was just like grocery shopping. You would just click on every game you wanted to see and then like just steal their teams. And it was a bit of a mess. But the other thing was that like you knew you were playing an open team sheet tour and that it was forced. Otherwise you wouldn't sign up. So it was okay to have it like be mandatory. But overall, I think the Showdown dev team did an amazing job. Implemented like the idea really perfectly and really created an experience where players can play open team sheet on ladder without forcing them to and without preventing the ladders from competing with each other. So I just wanted to go through that whole like long ass explanation because it was a bit of a process and it took some time, and the Showdown devs were getting derailed on Twitter the whole time, or like yelled at all the time.
Yeah,
their DMs were full.
No, I think that the way that they did it is great. I love it. You can opt into it, reject it, or just like ignore it. The number of games where like I don't want to do team sheets and my opponent also does, we just like don't even have to click the extra button. You just let it sit there. That's a fun thing. One of my favorite things about it though is when somebody will take just sample team from the most recent tournament win and then load up on the ladder and just be like, hey, open team sheets, and I'll be like, oh, that's great. Yeah, no, let me show you what I'm cooking. Here's what I'm working with. What do you got? Oh, yeah, you're running the sample team that just won the tournament. That's really cool. Cool. So every time I see those games, I'm just like, reject. No, you don't get to see my team. But I have accepted like a couple of open sheet games. Like, it's mainly in situations where like I want to actually test a match with open team sheet, like, and I don't feel like I am, losing anything by giving up my own, or like losing more by giving up my own sheet. Like with the team that I used last week, over the past weekend in the Pokebro store, when I was laddering with that one, I put even though I was planning on using it in a tournament, I did a couple of like open team sheet ladder games, just because like I'm like, not everybody's gonna see a person in the 1300s on the ladder and be like, all right, write that down, like so like while the feature is putting yourself out there a bit more than maybe players are used to with strategies that they want to keep secret, I don't think that you need to be too concerned, because like open team sheet practice is very valuable, and especially if you want to learn how to play like a certain matchup that seems key. Like if you're like, oh, I'm playing against Dondozo and I really need to know like what type of Dondozo it is to get good practice here. Or if you're playing Dondozo and you're like, all right, well, just tell me if the Murkrow does have haze or not. I think that the open sheet functionality on the ladder is awesome. That is such a great feature to be added. And, whether or not you're like getting a lot of use out of it or not, you can't argue that it isn't just amazing. So shout outs to Walbeth and Karthik.
Open Team Sheet's just fun now. I like pressing the button. It's a good time.
I know, but it makes me feel so dumb when I'm like, oh, they had that, and then it was on the open team sheet.
But
that's good practice.
It's
though.
good. It's good practice because
It's like being owned.
No, I like it. That is, Rajan stole my joke. It is good practice for the actual event. I had people who were like, "Wait, oh, I should have known that. It was on the sheet." And I'm like, "Why didn't you?"
This is my call out post. Joe UX9, you crumpled your team sheet so badly that, honest to God, I missed that your Amoonguss had Rocky Helmet because it was just like in a little ball. I could not read that.
We need like team sheet care
that
guidelines.
Has to be against the rules, right?
I think there actually are team sheet guidelines or something on one of the websites. So, that's funny. Yeah, no, I also played against Joe.
I just didn't read it.
I also played against Joe, and he pulled it out of his pocket, and it was just this crumply thing. And I played him before. I think you played him, so it only got worse from there, I imagine.
I'm just saying, with $100,000, you can spring for laminating.
That's true. But do they have the time? Oh, didn't one of these events have did they have the same submission times, or were they earlier, later? I thought I saw that for like Orlando or something.
It's different. The Team Northwest ones are doing 8 p.m. the night before, knowing that people will build until like the absolute last minute, and then forcing people to get like a night of sleep.
Wait, say that word again. Did you say build?
I said build. I said build, but I meant to say build.
It was in a California accent.
Run the tape back. He's from Cali.
Oh, you owe me $1. You know that. Yeah, like, I don't know. I like the 8 p.m. submission time. I'm gonna be honest, but like I know some people didn't.
No, Orlando killed it. I'm so bummed. Orlando is like up until like 7 a.m. or whatever the day of.
Depending on the TO.
No. But Orlando has killed it. They already said that.
Mm-hmm.
Temporarily, but Team Northwest is reviving it, Palmont style.
What are you talking about?
On Vancouver for the registration
I didn't say Vancouver. I said Orlando.
Dead. It's not dead if it's still a thing for another thing.
No, Orlando killed it at Orlando. It is not there at Orlando. I can't go to bed that night, and that sucks.
So let's move on. Let's move past this. Water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. Now.
I hate that guy.
Let's talk about one small last thing for this topic, and then we'll finish off by talking about the results of the Nino Poke Pro Tour, an early Series 2 metagame. We talked about a lot of the other stuff more than I thought, so we'll have less time for Series 2 in this episode, but Series 2 hasn't even officially started, so you guys can chill. We'll be talking about Series 2 for weeks.
No, precisely 3 before it becomes Series 3.
Series 3, and we move on and on and on. Okay, so let's talk about the dual ladder aspect. I don't think there's a lot to say. I just think that this is just really cool that we're doing this. I think that they have had hesitations for this in the past, but the fact that we have the 2 ladders, just really good for practice and for people that still want to play Series 1. I mean, I guess the in game is always there, right? But
so you can play against Jody's team repeatedly.
Yeah, I guess the rain is just running it in Series 1, huh?
So when I was explaining before that the open team sheet versus closed team sheet dynamic was based off the premise that it would be a one ladder solution, that's for the same format.
Yeah.
As an example, previously, I don't remember what series it was that was running concurrently with Spike Myth Cup last year, but so Series 13 and Spike Myth were running at the same time, but those were different games and different formats. The idea of keeping it within one ladder was just so that you don't you don't make the single ladders practice shit. But if you have but these are 2 different formats, which is why there is comfort in that respect, and the fact that this the Series 1 ladder is going to be gone in about 2 weeks. So
so yeah, so that's available for you guys if you are looking to already get some practice going for all these events that are going. Wait, what if Knoxville is series it's after, right? Isn't it?
It's still Series 2.
They're all Series 2 because Series 2 is February till end of March, I guess.
The first Series 3 regional is going to be Fort Wayne.
And okay, signups aren't live for that one yet, but it's isn't that one a day after the flip potentially?
Yep.
Love that. Love these early.
Honestly, it's fun though.
It is. I mean, no, the first regional of a format is crazy. It's what are you gonna say, Adi? I heard that groan.
No, okay. So yes, it's always fun to play in the first regional of the format. Yes, it would be very different to be playing in Liverpool when the hype for the format has reduced, and also you have to build and then build upon and build to counter a bunch of other ideas that popped up at San Diego, and that's a whole other building process. But I am super not excited about going to Charlotte one weekend and then the next weekend playing a completely different format and
that is pretty
regional.
Funny. I'm not. Yeah.
That
is pretty funny.
Just do mediocre at Orlando, then you don't have to go to one of them.
You just get precisely 129th. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something in there. I think he can get 6th too. 6th is fine. Any of those two numbers is dope. Okay. All right, so let's go on to our last talk of the day. Nino Pokebros tournament. It's Nino's Scarlet Violet friendly fight, I think is what it's called. And yeah, this one was run over the weekend. It was best of 1 Swiss into best of 3 top cut, all done in the same day. I think it started Friday night. If I
prefer best of 3 Swiss, best of 1 cut personally, but that's
I mean, I know. We're never gonna get over that one because somebody actually did it. I think the number of entrants was just shy of 400.
And mouse top 4. Let's go. I thought that mon was dead.
And then for
no, hold on. No, scroll down. What does that take a ton? Hold on.
Are you looking at this on my stream? Because you should just open. You should just open the link yourself.
No.
Because you're gonna be looking at everything with serious delay. Stop doing this. Stop. I realized that you've probably been doing this the whole time.
Oh, the whole stream.
Okay. Anyway, free entry, $500 pot that went to the top 4. I think it was $275 for first, $125 for second, $50 for top 4. And
nice.
And yeah, I mean, it got a pretty good showing there, at least with the number of entrants. 400 something people. And it was won by Cristanzo, Lunar, with a team of Iron Hands, Arcanine, Iron Bundle, Goldengo, Garganackle, and Amoonguss.
What do you call a Lunar that gets excited after winning a tournament?
This is probably a very dangerous riddle, but go ahead.
A Roaring Moon.
What?
Oh, I guess. Yeah, because it's a lunar moon. Yeah, good one.
Okay.
Crushed it.
So, first thing I see multiple Pincurchin in top cut.
Yo, wait a minute.
Wait,
Yeah.
we made it?
There are two. There are 2 in top 16 or 2 in top 20.
So wait, I see the one in 7. Where's the other guy?
19th, and they went 9-1 in Swiss or X1 in Swiss.
Let's go.
I am all
It
about
was
the
best of
Pincurchin.
1 Swiss, and so I guess that's worth mentioning.
So here's plus for the Pincurchin, okay? When you're running Torkoal plus Photosynthesis mons, right? For the most part, you're just boosting their stats, right? You're just boosting Photosynthesis. But if you're running Pincurchin with the Quark Drive mons, you're also boosting their stat.
See, this is because Rajan only thinks that Iron Hands is the only Pokemon.
Yes.
Sandy Shocks?
Okay.
What
what if I told you?
Sandy Shocks is the other thing.
Is it?
Yeah, Sandy Shocks is
It's an electric, though.
Its name doesn't begin in iron.
Is that how that works?
Jesus fucking Christ.
So,
Jesus fucking Christ is also a past Pokemon because it's not Iron Jesus fucking Christ.
It's an electric type.
I'm looking at both of these Pincurchins, and they are both eject button. One
Why
is
does homie have acupressure?
because what else is it doing, Rajan? What else has
It
Pincurchin
has
got?
brine. It has
Oh wait, go
it has
on.
water moves.
It does have Hydro Pump on the other team. On the Rain team, it's got Thunder, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, Protect. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I gotta say, like,
It has helping hand.
Pincurchin just for Iron Hands just doesn't seem like enough for me. The other team at least has 2 future mons with the Iron Hands and the Iron Bundle.
Yeah, you make bundle. Oh, but bundle's not an electric. You know, I thought that was.
Well, the other argument is that it's a electric train setter for a hard trick room team that doesn't like Amoonguss, and then
That's
also
true.
benefits your Iron Hands, which is a primary sweeper. So like it does kind of make sense. It also benefits from trick room itself. Kind of does damage, I guess.
It presses acupressure.
All right, let's talk about the winning team. Let's talk about Cristanzo's team a little bit. Cristanzo had Iron Hands. I already read off the mons. I'm not gonna read it again. It's got the Firewater Grass, Arcanine, Amoonguss, but now with the bundle, we've got Iron Hands, Assault Vest. I'm probably gonna have to throw it off to Rajan to talk about Iron Hands for the rest of the show.
It's my favorite.
And then we've got a Goldango and then the salty guy. This one actually is Terra Ghost, not Terra Poison, which we've been seeing a lot lately.
I'm okay with that.
Maybe specifically on this team, just because the team has 4 ground weaknesses, tearing into poison, maintaining the ground weakness is something that needed
Kind of heat.
Yeah, so yeah.
And you already have 3 fairy resists, and the point of poison is that now you resist both of one of main stats. But if you have Arcanine, Shroom, Goldango, you might be okay.
More realistically, it's Gargus. I mean, more importantly, the Gargus just like it's Ghost to beat Iron Hands better. That's really it.
So why don't you talk about the hands, Rajan? What do you got to say about hands?
The hands is just sick, man. Like last format, we didn't have stats on any Pokemon, and now we have stats.
That's
on
just
like
a lie. That's just a lie.
We had no stats at all. Like
this is someone who did not use Palafin.
Average BST 317, and now we have stats. And Iron Hand just has stats for days. That's really it.
Yep.
He has moves. Who cares? Just slap a vest on that guy. Looks spiffy. It's a fake out pivot. Like, what do you want from me? We didn't have that before. He's got stats.
They do got stats. It is the fattest in the biz.
This is cool.
So yeah, I think that's mainly what Chris's team is doing here. Is it's just like a bunch of mons that have good type synergy. You're covering the type chart pretty well, aside from having a lot of ground weaknesses. But you cover that by having a couple of things in your favor. You know, Terras can cover for an overwhelming weakness present on your team. Iron Bundle is going to hit a lot of those Pokemon going for ground type moves if they're stab. I would say those are the main things that stand out to me here. Otherwise, this is just like a team that plays very like reactively, I would say, and is just like has good switch-ins for almost any situation.
Yeah, I like Series 2. I just think it's just pick your favorite meatballs and make your favorite bowl of spaghetti kind of thing.
So true.
That's all you do. All you do.
And then we see Joe in second with 4 of the same Pokemon, with Mimikyu and Meowscarada instead of Amoonguss and Bundle. So obviously there's a bit of merit to that core. We actually see Goldango in all the top 4 teams. So there's an Arcanine, I guess, is in 3 of them. And yeah, I don't know. What are some of the other things that stand out to you guys in this top cut here?
Meatballs.
I think a relative lack of Fluttermane is the big thing, because like I mean, like Fluttermane was like always like pretty like scary going into it, just from its like, I don't know, like if you hear from the single stuff, they're like, oh my god, this is the most broken Pokemon ever, like that kind of thing. It's turbo fast, turbo strong, Ghost Fairy, and it's like it did okay. Like,
yeah, did it actually only have 1 appearance in the top 8?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Dodo got bopped too, actually. You were the only Dodo in top 16.
The undefeated in Swiss also is Dozo. They lost
Where?
the top 32.
I
Yuki's
said top
in.
16.
What's funny?
But they.
The crazy story about Yuki-Zan was, I believe he went undefeated in Swiss, and there was like a top 33 cut with X and 2, and the 33rd seed was Joyu X9, who played against Yuki in a very messy set, I heard, and Joe came out on top. I don't know. I could fact check that by clicking Yuki's sheet here. Let's see. Matches.
Dodo got bopped, and I'm not sure if that's correct as a concept, but I guess it's just more like we have one Intimidate now. It's kind of Arcanine. I don't really know why Dodo got so bopped though.
I will say Arcanine being three of the top 4 teams does stand out. And the one team that didn't have it was, of course, Alex. But
He is the number
Arcanine,
one hater of dogs.
Arcanine being everywhere is a pretty cool new meta trend, I guess.
I think that
I thought it'd be really good.
It's because we saw. I mean, Abe just brings up Tauros as well, and the answers to that is you want to switch into your Intimidate Pokemon to intimidate the physical Pokemon, obviously, but sometimes they're next to a Flutter Mane, and being able to resist the strong Fairy type attack from Flutter Mane is just really nice. Whereas if you have Tauros, you're just gonna get destroyed by like a Dazzling Gleam or a Moonblast.
Tauros when you can run Iron Hands?
I mean, it just makes sense to me that like the value of Intimidate goes up as like we have more valuable physical Pokemon that don't not care about Intimidate, right? Because like I mean, in Series 1, the best physical Pokemon were, you could argue, were like Meowscarada and King Gambit, right? And then no one name any of the other physical Pokemon that are better than them. But it's like, I don't know, like Intimidate starts running out of a job.
And then Annihilate too, right? With Defiant, and then you can throw an Amulet on something.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it becomes a bit more tricky now that Iron Hands is like a clear mon that is good, and you want to intimidate. Oh, it suddenly starts to get a bit better, especially as like Meowscarada and King Gambit and Annihilate, right? Get a bit power crept out by like some of the other stuff. So in all, it works.
Dog's just cool.
Thank you for your contribution, Rajan.
My second take is that all of top 4 had a Goldengo, and 7 of top 8 had a Ghost type on the team. 6 of those were Goldengo. 5 of those were Goldengo.
If it was only
one of those was Spiritomb, Adi. You love to talk about Spiritomb.
I want to know about this. I want to know about the Spiritomb Scizor team.
It had a Pincurchin. We actually already opened this one because it had Pincurchin. There's a Giraffe too. There's a lot of guys.
Yeah. That one is the antithesis of the base stat total team.
It's a hard to
Jack total team.
What is pop quiz for anybody here? What is Pincurchin's BST? I don't know.
I think it's like 420. Yeah.
I wanted to guess 420. Oh my god, maybe it's actually 420.
Blaze it? Pinkuchi blaze it?
Hold up, we're checking this right now.
I don't like this Spiritomb. I don't get the point of this mod. I don't know why it's there.
Dane says
it gets Trick Room.
Dane says it's like 45.
It's 435.
It's 435.
Dang.
I need that Spiritomb to go away. I don't like it at all.
What? Oh, the set on it?
I don't like that.
Yeah, no, it seems interesting. It's got the Steel Terra Infiltrator. Infiltrator still solid into Dondozo. Pain Split also good into Dondozo.
Yeah, Infiltrator Wisp is cool.
Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, Adi was saying that there's a lot of ghost types represented in the top cut. What else is there to mention?
How many ground types are there anywhere?
There is a Garchomp in top 8. From Scarlet Skill.
Great Tusk.
Oh yeah, there's a Great Tusk right there. I played against the Garchomp in top 8, and even though my team is 3 ground weeks and no resists, my opinion is that Dondozo is a damage resist. It resists all types, and so it doesn't actually have weaknesses. The only types that it doesn't resist are like grass and electric, and then those just do neutral damage. And so you can make up for ground weaknesses with something like Dondozo. The Dondozo teams are not typical for things like the type chart. Also, man, I've got a cat on my lap keeping me occupied. But I'll go ahead and plug myself. If you want to watch my run in the tournament, it was streamed all here on I was gonna say on Tub Takes, on Tub Nation
It was.
TV. And so you can check that all out there, and the team is also on my Twitter if you want to play that one. Shout outs to Burns for building it.
I played that tournament too. The same team. I went 1-2 drop.
And how'd you do?
Hey. One of those was a no-show, or like a late sign.
So I apparently had to check in round 1, even though I was chilling, so I lost that round. And I won round 2. And then round 3. Can I talk about what just beat the shit out of me, Alex?
What was it?
I got completely destroyed by Terra Steel Seriledge because that whole team, like, I just couldn't touch that guy with any of the mons. On the time, I forgot to bring Dendozo in best of 1.
It is best of 1, yeah. You screw up like that.
I didn't bring Dendozo, and I didn't realize how bad I got shut down, got mad, and went to bed. That's how that tournament went for me.
So one thing I will say about my run is that, like, it is best of 1, and so, like, I think best of 1 open team sheet is real. It's actually pretty real practice. I've said this a couple times in the podcast, but like, you very rarely walk away from a best of 1 open team sheet game and say like, oh, I got cheesed. Like, that was just like stupid. You know, like, it's all laid out there, and if they get you with some kind of strategy that you didn't see coming when it is all spelled out, then I mean, I'm sorry, but you kind of got. I didn't
say I didn't. I got turbo.
No. Listen. But I was going to add that there are times though where in open team sheet you don't realize what your best game plan is in the first game and maybe lose that one and then just bring it back. That's just kind of the nature of best of 3 in general. So obviously I'm not trying to advocate for best of 1 open team. He's literally pulling out my headphones. Okay. I'm not trying to advocate for best of 1 open sheet. No, Bert. Somebody else talk. I can't.
So Alex isn't trying to advocate for best of 1 open team sheet, but he is also advocating for it.
No, that's not how the sentence was supposed to finish.
Alex also wanted to say to follow at ComVGC on Twitter.
That's true. It's on the bottom of the stream anyway, so don't worry. I got you.
So Alex wasn't advocating for open team sheet, but
okay, yeah, no, Vernon
Alex
is just
also
like
hates Day 2 Swiss.
No,
Alex does hate Day 2 Swiss, and he's also not really into Ohio.
Okay, that's true. The other thing,
2 things: Day 2 Swiss and the Swiss.
No.
Oh God.
Okay, so
that's not allowed to be said.
So okay, Vern has left me. I'm back in the game. The other thing that I wanted to add was about my run is that I did get 2 free wins in Swiss. So I got a no-show round 1, probably somebody like Rajan. I don't know if they ended up playing the rest of the tournament or not. And then in the middle of Swiss, I played against Soab, who was like, oh man, I'm getting my food. I'll be back in 1 second. And I was like, all right, yeah, no, take your time, man. And then after like 5 minutes had passed, he was like, yeah, no, the food is still not here. I just take the win. He clicks the button, and I have 15 seconds to like dispute it. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'll just take it. I'm sorry, man. Like, less content for the stream, but yeah.
I was just gifted free wins left and right.
Yeah, so like when you see me in top 4 there, just know that it was not earned.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and so yeah. Other than that, like what was the top cut for this one actually? Like how many people made it? 33, right? 32.
33. Yep.
There's some stuff to. I mean, to Gavin's credit, earlier in the stream, he did say something of value, and also, I like some of these ideas are in the cut, like feel pretty built on from Series 1 ideas. It's like Zomog's team, for example, seems like a Series 2 take on their Series 1 team.
Yep.
And things of that nature. Or really, I just saw Volcarona I saw Sableye Volcarona went. They're doing it again. But I do think there's some legitimacy there. We did kind of realize, like, if we were to play whatever Series 0 was now, we would be doing it very differently because we have a lot of the different, like, sort of information on what makes things effective and how things are interacting. And I do think Series 2 will take Series 1 inspirations. But we also have stats now.
I'm looking at the stats for this tournament, and like I feel like if we were to look at the top teams, the most common core 4 is that fire, water, grass, Iron Hands. Arcanine being the fire, Bundle being the water, Amoonguss being the grass.
And Iron Hands being the hands.
And that's the hands. You know, every team needs a fire, water, grass hands.
That's true.
Do you think that if we have like a Pokemon with big enough hands, like that works as a substitute?
Kofagrigus, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Yeah. You gotta find another. You gotta keep.
Kofagrigus
Everyone needs a good hands guy.
Yeah.
gives hands the hands.
All right, hold on. I gotta get my cat again.
We'll workshop that YouTube title.
What about Ambipom? That count?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Like Ambipom is viable in this format. Is it in the decks? I don't think. Is it?
It is not in the decks.
It's
You
not.
would've-
Okay, but you have to think about it.
no, I didn't have to think about it because you would have known, ironically, because it's faster than Mousehold. So you would have seen someone try to beat Annihilate with it.
And by someone,
You would have seen me try to beat Annihilate with it.
yeah.
I guess to my last thought about this tournament is that Iron Hands is probably the
The
highest used one.
hands.
And Iron Bundle is also just everywhere. It's probably the second most common new
Mhm.
Pokemon.
The hands is so good. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, Series 2, I think it plays pretty all right. I think it's decently fun, as we were saying earlier. It's like not as fun as Series 1 for me currently, but like I don't know, it's not the worst. As long as we keep the ruined Pokemon out of things, I'll be happy. I wish we got more time with Series 1. I don't know how much time we're gonna get with Series 2. It'll probably feel short regardless.
I get 2 events this time.
That's
They
true.
should make Series 3 just like they just add Tinglu and Wolchin.
That would be my.
That's the dream. That is the dream. Gavin is preaching to the choir here. Rajan and I are popping off. Because those guys aren't toxic. Those guys aren't toxic. Like, dude, there's
Just
nothing wrong with them.
Chiyu. No one cares about that.
There's
guy.
nobody-
Dexit. What's the other one? Chen Pao.
No one's
Get
got
that
beef
one
with the
out of here.
moose or the snail. Come on.
Gary, bring him back. No, I vibe with that format. I mean, I just think that this tour taught us, and I think you can reasonably care about the results of the tournament because there was free money in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, stats are good. The hands is good. It's really all there is to it.
Use them fat guys.
Use just throw the stats on the team.
And I know this is shocking everyone. I don't think Iron Thorns did well.
Oh,
Is
wait.
there not there's one in top 16. Was that an actual T-Tar? That's an actual T-Tar. Dang.
No, I think there is an Iron Thorns in the tournament, but I'm not gonna go find it.
Oh yeah, no. I think my official hot take for Series 2, official hot tub take, is I think Fluttermane is the 4th best Paradoxmon.
All right.
Okay. Iron Hands,
Hands,
Iron Bundle.
Bundle.
Brute Bonnet.
Let's
Bonnet.
go.
Ooh.
I
You
love
got
Bruce.
That's
in the
spicy.
top 4.
Stats are good.
Bruce.
You could have said
Bonnet?
the Jugulus or Moth or Roaring Moon, and I would have agreed with you anyways. Like I think all
Jugulus?
those are pretty valid.
Yeah,
Jugulus is
I'm
sick.
not sure how I feel about Jugulus.
Are you stupid?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is why I'm not building with Audi anymore.
Okay, I am Justin now.
Wait, I'm just really surprised that y'all are calling it Jugulus. I thought everyone just referred to it as Iron Jugs.
I call it Iron Jugs, and I kept calling it Iron Jugs on stream, and I was like, is this okay? But I
Iron
did
Jugs?
Joe Brown came
Juggy
by the
Wuggy.
stream. Sorry, I keep cutting people off. Joe Brown
Oh,
came by the stream, and I was like, oh, Joe, like, how do we say this one? And it's Jug-ulus. So, yeah, Jugulus.
I prefer Juggy Wuggy.
Okay.
Was a bear.
I just call it Iron Jew.
Iron Jugs was my nickname in high school.
Oh no. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream, Deltron Z, and you forgot a profile picture.
All right. Yeah, so maybe a little bit shorter than some of the other ones. Sorry for like the slightly late start and not pushing it past 2, but we normally try to keep these around 2 anyway. And I am running out of steam, and I gotta go dress my cat. I think he wants dinner. So we
You just want dinner.
we're gonna start wrapping things up here. If you guys have any last questions, feel free to fire them off, and we can maybe address them. But other than that, I don't know. What are the things that you say at the end of the episode in an outro? Oh yeah, you ask if there's any more questions. Did I ask that yet? There's.
You did.
I just did. And like, let us know any feedback you guys have and what you might want to see from us next time. Any plugs or shout outs. I don't care to give these guys any plugs or shout outs. And then I'm going to remind you guys that this is going to go up on YouTube. So, check it out at CK49 on YouTube. It'll be up on Wednesday, likely. And do you guys have any plugs that you want to mention? Besides like your Twitters are down one of these directions from me. So
have you guys heard of CK49 on YouTube? Big content creator is going to be putting out 3 team reports from San Diego Regionals this week, along with Tub Takes. Definitely should give him a subscription if you don't already. That's my take. That's my plug. Who's next?
I just want to know how many Murkrow you think will be the top cut of Liverpool regionals.
Oh, I need a poll for my channel. What am I asking about?
How do you pronounce Iron Jugulus?
Oh wait, you know what? I made a poll earlier in the stream asking about Murkrow, and I never looked at the results of that one. Did anybody see how that? What do people say in that? How do I find them? It's gone. It's lost to time. Well, anyway, I thought I saw a question from Shadmaster. Can you go through each Paradox Pokemon next time about viability? I don't think we'll do like a strict tier list, but we could like probably talk about like the merit of each of them in like one of the next streams. No reason to. I just think there wasn't a reason to cram all of the series to deep dive in the beginning when the format isn't even live yet. But as time goes on, we'll be talking about Series 2 Pokemon a lot. So
and Ani will be telling you about how Jugi Woogie is in the top 4 Paradox Mons.
Kunala is.
I think it's in the top 8 Paradox Mons.
Oh, that's true. Okay. All right. Wait,
top
8? That's
16.
Oh wait, top 8 isn't even upper half. There's 14 of them. Let's go. Kunal asks, what do you guys think about Pincurchin Iron Hands for the Quark Drive boost? We saw at least 2 teams in the top cut here doing it. I think, I mean, it does allow your Iron Hands to maintain an item instead of having to run booster energy, but you also are giving up a whole Pokemon to have a Pincurchin, and I think that's a net.
Run booster energy. Why are you putting that on that guy?
Okay. You know what does look more legit than that though? Obviously, one of these teams was a Pincurchin team. I think Iron Hands for Rigoraph did really well given its uses. There were 2 in top 16. The Hobbit also cut using that. It was in top 32, and then Hobbit won the Beat Me Brawl, which is another slightly smaller tournament that happened. So that's
that.
the team.
It's a really easy semi-room mode, and it's like, I mean, we saw Aaron Brock do like top 4 with Hariyama for Graph Rain, and it's like, I don't know, not too unreasonable to stop and say like, well, Iron Hands Rain is good. Why not add for Rigoraph?
Yeah, the Giraffe just has a good stat line. It's pretty bulky, and the fact that, as we were saying, it's just like one of the best semi-room Pokemon because of its utility outside. Like, sometimes you just want to deny a Fake Out, deny a priority move, and your fast Pokemon can do that just as much as your Trick Room Pokemon. So,
I think that makes
building on both.
Giraffe feel even better because we have a Fake Out Mon now that's like not dog, whereas the other ones were like kind of dog. So having actual reason to block that priority is like pretty cool.
Oh no! Now Kunal's asking about Speed Booster. Gravity Sandy Cheeks with not Sandy Cheeks, Sandy Shocks with Hypnosis Goth. I think that that is like one of the only viable gravity mons.
It's Sandy like one of 3 total.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like a lot of gravity. My cat
Last
is doing
question. What are your thoughts on Roaring Moon?
Roaring cool. Mid. Just leave it at that. There's nothing else to add.
He's a cool guy. He doesn't have moves though.
You know what? No.
That acro set sucks.
I think it's underrated. I think it's 4th best Paradox Mon, 5th best maybe. I don't know.
No, I not one of the Pokemon you said was the 4th best Paradox Mon.
I said that you could have said like 4 different Paradox Mons that were better than Fluttermane,
and none of them were Moon.
So Moon is that means that like Great Tusk is now your 9th favorite Paradox Mon.
Oh, I forgot about Great Tusk. Okay, Great Tusk is 4th for sure. Great Tusk is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I gotta go, man. Vern is annoying. Like I gotta go deal with Vern.
Yeah, I also got to go deal with Vern. He is like clawing at the bedroom door right now. Like, I'm actually curious if he's damaging it. So I was like about to go to address that, and I was like, I should probably just wrap up the podcast. So it's making more noise. It's bad. Okay. So that's gonna be it for this time. Thank you guys for coming out. Thanks to the guests for being on, and yeah, peace out, people.